Hey guys, if this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Emily and today I am bringing you another mad science makeup. So today's Mad Science makeup is going to be all about the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream Glow Kit, specifically the shade Unicorn, which seems to be the more pinky toned magenta shade in the palette. Now I did want this palette at first, but then upon looking at it and upon some suggestions from you guys, I figured I could make this in Mad Science makeup. So I came up with this bad boy right here. This is what I have made for Mad Science makeup today. And if you want to see how I made this guy, let's go ahead and hop right on into that. Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be attempting to make something kind of similar to the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream Glow Kit. Specifically, I want to try and dupe out this shade Unicorn. It's the more magenta toned pinky highlighter shade, and that's the shade out of the entire palette that really caught my attention, that really turned me onto the palette. I don't really care too much about the other shades, but that Unicorn shade really caught my attention and really got me considering whether or not I wanted to buy this palette or not. Even though I'm pretty sure I won't be getting much use out of a shade like this, I want to just have it in my collection because I think that it's really pretty, and I think that there might be a certain time and place or a certain look that I'm going for where I want a more magenta-y, kind of unicorn-ish highlight, and I figured why not make it in Mad Science makeup. So today we are going to be trying to make that, and I have to thank one of my subscribers for suggesting picking up this Wet n Wild blush here. When I said in my Pay or Stay Away that I wanted to possibly buy this, she suggested that I should pick up this blush here and see if that kind of tames my craving for wanting a magenta toned highlighter. But this is a little bit deep, so we're going to be mixing it with another shade here today and seeing if we can make something that will be illuminating on the cheekbones. So first things first today, I'm going to of course need my spatula as per usual, like I do every single week. I have this little dropper here from Stila, and this is just some rubbing alcohol. It's just a teeny tiny, if I can get it open, little dropper of rubbing alcohol here. Helps me to control how much I put in. Then of course we are going to need our mixing tray. Mine has seen some better days, let me tell you. I'm still using the same one from the first day of Mad Science makeup. And I needed to find something that's a little bit more appealing to look at than this old dingy thing. Next, I just have my little empty pan here that I'm going to put my final product into. Last but certainly not least, I have my two Wet n Wild products. I have the blush in Dare to Soar. This is a blush that's new from their Hummingbird Flights of Fancy collection, I believe it's called. And this is a magenta toned shimmery blush. It's absolutely beautiful. I tried this on the cheeks last night and it's actually really pretty as a blush, so I don't want to use up all the product, of course. I want to keep most of this for a blush, but I definitely think this will really help to add that magenta tone into the highlight today. And I have this Wet n Wild highlighter in the shade Blossom Glow. This shade is like a iridescent pinky highlight. It's really beautiful. It has a hint of purple, but it's mostly a kind of iridescent pink base. So those are the two shades there. And as you can see, once we mix these together, I think we might end up with something that's pretty close to the Anastasia highlight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start destroying some of this makeup, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to get started with today is taking some of this Blossom Glow highlighter. And that's so satisfying, oh my gosh. Let's just break it up here and dump it out into the pan. And of course I'm not going to be using all of the product today because this is a whole heck of a lot of highlighter, and my pan over here is just a basic 26mm standard size eyeshadow pan. So I just took a little tiny chunk out of the side of the product here. And now for the fun part. Let's go ahead and dip right on into the Dare to Soar blush here from the Flights of Fancy collection. Whew, that's definitely a different texture than the highlighter. The blush seems to be a lot more creamy. I'm just scooping out a small amount because I don't want the pink to be too crazy and too overpowering. So now I'm gonna hop into my little Stila dropper here that has my rubbing alcohol in it, and I'm just gonna take 2 droppers full, and let's see if that's enough rubbing alcohol. And then I will start mixing, and now I'm going to start mixing everything together and incorporating the product together. So here's what I have so far, and as you can see, it's just a little bit of product, so I definitely need to add some more product to be able to fill the whole pan. So I'm going to take more of the Blossom Glow highlighter shade and just scoop it right on into the mixture here. And I do really want the product to be a little bit lighter. As you can see, I have achieved the magenta tone, but it's a little bit deep for my skin tone, so I think adding this little bit of extra Blossom Glow will help to lighten it up. And going right back in with my rubbing alcohol, I'm going to take 2 little droppers here. And let's go ahead and mix it up. So I have been watching this show all freaking day. It's called Hemlock Grove and it's on Netflix. It's like a Netflix show, kind of like Stranger Things, but it's not as well known. And I've only been watching it because it has Bill Skarsgård in it, you know, Pennywise the clown. I love him. I think he's the greatest. And the show's kind of weird and I'm not really following it that well. But has anyone seen this show? Does anyone like this show? Because I'm starting to really like it, even though I don't necessarily understand what's happening. I just like Bill Skarsgård, okay? He's very underrated. So here we have the product all mixed together. And the shade looks pretty spot on, if I do say so myself. So I think that I'm pretty good to go here. Now it does look a little bit deep, but as I always say, it lightens up a little bit in the pan. And as you can see when I kind of spread it out thin, it does have a sort of light colored iridescence to it. So I think this will be okay on my skin tone. I'm hoping it's not going to be too dark, but the ABH highlight looks like it may have been a bit too dark for my skin tone as well. So if it is a little bit too dark, that's a-okay, because I'm pretty sure the one in the palette would have been a little bit too dark as well. So now I'm just going to start filling my pan. So there we have the product in the pan. It looks really beautiful to me so far, but I'm just going to have to let it set up and then we'll see how it looks later on the cheekbones. So I'm going to go ahead and just let it set up overnight. It's already nighttime here for me and I'm going to go ahead and try this on camera tomorrow morning with you guys. So for you guys it'll be just a second, but for me it'll be overnight. So I will see you very soon. So just like I always do for Mad Science makeup, I am going to be demoing this on my cheeks. So let's go ahead and get on into that here. I do have down a base of some liquid highlighter like I always do to be able to adhere the highlight to my face because I mention it in every video, but I don't wear foundation and highlight doesn't stick unless I do that. Taking my Bdellium Tools 788 brush, I'm just going to load up the brush here. And I'm just really hoping that it's not too dark for my skin tone because it might be. But we shall see. And as you can see, my brush is pretty loaded up, so I'm going to go ahead and just start packing this onto the cheeks. Whew, that is definitely not too dark. It's very pretty though. And it does seem to have a pretty pinky magenta-y base to it. So here we have one layer of the highlight. What do we think? Do we think this looks like kind of magenta-y or does it look more like a champagne toned highlight? Because to me it looks pretty magenta-y while still being light on my skin. So I'm a pretty big fan of this. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Just gonna load up my brush. And just applying to the cheekbones. So now for a little bit of extra intensity, I'm going right back in with my Morphe M501 brush. And I'm just spraying it down with 2 spritzes of setting spray. And let's see if we can get this any more popping than it already is. So here we have it on the cheeks. What do you guys think? I think it's really beautiful and I think you can really see that magenta tone shining through, but it's not too dark for my skin and I'm very excited about that because honestly, looking at it in the pan, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be just a touch too dark and give me kind of a magenta cast to my skin instead of making it look like a light pinky magenta highlight. but I think that it looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna pop up some swatches here of my highlighter versus the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Unicorn, and we can see how they compare as far as finger swatches go. But on the cheeks, I think this is awesome. I'm really excited to have this in my collection now, and I didn't have to go out and spend the $45 on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. And this doesn't have any glitter in it, so it's just a nice metallic shine. So I think that this was definitely a win, and I'm really happy with the result. And that is going to be wrapping up today's Mad Science makeup. If you have any suggestions for Mad Science makeup, please leave it in the comments below. I always read my comments and I always respond. I do hope that you consider subscribing. I have all sorts of makeup goodness happening here on this channel, and I am doing Mad Science makeup every single week. So if you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, I would love to see you hit that button down below. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!